What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Coach Mo Murphy podcast. As always, I am your host, Coach Mo Murphy, aka Coach Mo. And with me, I got my guy, Chris Lebron, in the building. Y'all know our ties. Every time he jumps on the podcast, y'all know we have to talk about the history. My guy, Chris LeBron, former president of the Off the Ball Network, my friend, the host of the Off the Ball podcast. I don't officially know your title with Knicks Fan TV, but I know you over there cooking with Knicks Fan TV, making some appearances, doing some shows. So like it seemed like everything on your side is taking off. But Chris, how you doing, bro?
I'm doing good, bro. It's NBA draft season. The Knicks are in the Eastern Conference Finals, so it's a good time of the year right now.
Yeah, it's really your time to shine. So we'll talk about before we talk about the NBA draft, we'll talk about your New York Knicks. Cause like basically right about now, this is prime cream of the crop content for you right now. Like you could talk your Knicks and then the NBA draft has always been your bag. So like for you to still be able to talk ball and playoff basketball and care about that, what is that like? Like, and it's not like the Knicks haven't been here before. They've been
Mhm.
to the Eastern Conference Finals. This isn't their first appearance, but I feel like we said this the last time when they made the Eastern Conference Finals, like the energy in the air's got to be different. But I personally, this would be me. I think the energy really got to be different because, like, obviously we're recording this while, Detroit and Cleveland are going back, tit for tat as far as who's going to win that series and have to see the Knicks. And that might be a 7-game series. Both teams beat up
Mhm.
heading in there. But essentially, the Knicks are in the Eastern Conference Finals. And I think the expectation would be they're the favorite to win the Eastern Conference Finals and go to the NBA Finals. Is the air like is that the expectation around New York City? Like is with you being there, like is that kind of the conversation? Is like, all right, now that we're here, like we have to win. Because I feel like if you don't, me personally, I feel like if you don't get there, then you got a lot of things that you need to address in the offseason. And it's easy to say, like, well, bro, why would you say that? Even if they go 7 games in the Eastern Conference, like in the Eastern Conference Finals, if they lose, like, oh, why would you say that? Because the East is not going to be easier next year. The
No.
injuries are, as far as heading into the season now, injury prone people could be hurt and things like that. But there's going to be a lot of movement, a lot of moves. I think the East is going to be stronger. You got the Washington Wizards, got Trae Young, Anthony Davis, and now the number one pick. Could do a lot of things with that. There's a lot of decisions that they could make, but I think, the ultimate one is to use it on what is widely regarded as the best player in the draft or one of the two best players in the draft. But this
Mhm.
is prime. Like when you're a team like the Knicks, you have to capitalize. And like if you're gonna justify keeping Karl Anthony Towns and OG Anunoby, which I know he's questionable in the conference finals, we don't know how much of him you'll have, and I do think that plays a factor. But if he's ready to go and good to go for the conference finals, I just think the Knicks got to get there. Like, or to me, Cat would be the one that would probably be out first. Like he'd be the scapegoat, like the guy to get rid of first. But I just don't know what value. Like, what do you get back for Cat? Where like we're a team that went to the Eastern Conference Finals, didn't get to the finals, but we're trying to get right back here next year, and we're making some moves. Like, what do you get back from Cat for that to make sense? You know what I'm saying? But I do feel like
Mhm.
the Knicks have to make it, and it's a realistic ask for them to get to the NBA Finals.
No, I mean James Dolan said it. He's like, "Yo, we got to get to the NBA Finals," and that's at least the bare minimum. Anything, anything, if we lose in the conference finals, it'll as a favorite again. Because last year we were favored to be Indiana, and we lose in six. So I think the expectations to get to the finals. I mean, we'll be the favorites over Detroit and Cleveland, in my opinion. Even though Detroit gave it to us in the regular season, but regular season don't mean. I
It's all
learned when.
about how you look right now in the playoffs, and right now the Knicks do look like clearly like if the Knicks aren't the favorite, there's going to be a lot of money on the New York Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah,
I put it like
it's
that.
we're definitely the favorites, and so that's the expectations to get to the finals. I mean, whatever happens in the finals, you can either play, OKC or most likely San Antonio. Even though don't count on Minnesota because they got Baby Jordan there, but it's just get to the finals, man. I think the last time I went to the finals is I was 9, so it's been a minute, So that's the least the bare minimum to get to the final, especially now the way they've been playing. I mean, they could beat anyone. Like I won't even doubt in the finals, like because listen, everyone talking about OKC, and listen, they've been dominant. They haven't lost in the playoffs yet, but once Indiana is a torn Halliburton torn Achilles away from us talking about them as the champions, and OKC like, oh, is there pressure on OKC? That's a an Achilles away from a completely different narrative we're talking about this season.
In one game too, not even a series.
One
we're
game,
talking about
yeah.
one game. Like we're talking about they made it to the game going 7 games.
Game 7, like anything can happen.
Like, he tears it in that game, and he started cooking. Like it was looking
balling.
Really it was looking really good for the Pacers to open up the game. Like,
like 9 points.
Halliburton could have one of these game 7s, like these memorable game 7s.
It should have been. It should have gone down as one of the best game 7s of all time, but we got robbed of that because of the Achilles, and naturally you see your teammate go down with a terrible injury. The mood just changes, and they had no shot after that. But let's get to the finals, dog. Let's get to the finals.
Let me ask you then: getting to the finals enough? Like,
no, because once you get there, you want to win it, obviously.
Of course. But I'm not saying it's championship or bust. Like, because if the answer is no, it's not enough, then it's like it's championship or bust. But what I'm saying is, there's going to be some people that are just satisfied with the Knicks getting there. But I think the getting there and like losing in 4 or 5 isn't satisfying enough. Like, I think they got to go 6, but I think this New York Knicks team could take any one of those 3 teams, whether it's Minnesota, San Antonio, or OKC. I think they could take them to 6 or 7. So I think it's a realistic possibility that like the Knicks could be in a dogfight in the series and maybe even come out on top. And Lord knows, boy, y'all win the championship, man. The NBA gonna have to do some backflips because there's gonna be a lot of, that'd be great for the NBA right about now, especially when we're dwindling down to like people are trying to figure out the conversation with LeBron James. Like that's gonna be the heavy topic of the summer. But like in the midst of whether LeBron's gonna retire, whether he's gonna return and play another year, whether that's in LA or Cleveland. Like the city of New York and the Knicks, they're not going to let you, the media, they're not going to let you forget about the fact that they won a championship the whole summer, which is cool. Like you do deserve that, but that's what happens when one of those big market teams win, especially somebody like the Knicks, that they're a huge market and haven't won in so many years. Like it's eventually their time. Everybody thinks like it's essentially the Eastern Conference Finals is just going to be a prize to who gets whooped in the NBA Finals. And I just don't know if the New York Knicks are the team that make it to the NBA Finals. I just don't know if it's like an easy walkthrough for the Spurs or the Oklahoma City Thunder or Minnesota. And obviously, if I'm the Knicks, if I want the favorable matchup, I'd want Minnesota.
That was my preseason pick, was Knicks versus Timberwolves. Like I said, I don't know.
Like, I understand the Knicks.
I just thought Ant-Man was going to go on a generational run.
That what you thought it was? Like, this was an MVP year, like, for Edwards coming into the season.
And I like him a lot.
We're not that far off. Like, if he ends up winning the next 2 games, getting to the Western Conference Finals, like,
he could have a generational run. Like, if he comes back
shit against OKC, bro, like, now he's in the NBA Finals, and then, man, like, the reason why I would be scared, because if this is the making of the superstar and the making Anthony Edwards, bro, them superstars go crazy in the guard. So, like, I would be scared that this is more a setup for him to ascend into, like, this villain superstar, oh, my God, bigger than life figure in New York than it would be the Knicks actually winning the series. Like, Ant is the one superstar I wouldn't want to see in this scenario. I'm going to be honest. Like, SGA is a bland superstar. Like, he's probably going to win back-to-back MVPs. But, like, the excitement around SGA, like, and I'm sure he'll probably go for 40 in a game in Madison Square Garden and have one of those memorable moments possibly. But it's bland. Like, I just don't think it has the buzz behind it that, like, Anthony Edwards would have. Obviously, Wemby, like, if I was to rank the 3 superstars, I mean, it'd either be Wemby or Ant, and then just SGA because he's the superstar of OKC, and I'm sure he'd have one of those games. But I just think it would be bigger for basketball if it's Anthony Edwards or Victor Wembanyama doing something on the bright lights in New York and Madison Square Garden.
As long as the Knicks are in there, bro.
Can we agree anybody but OKC? Like, am I the only one on that side? Like, I'm cool with anybody left winning a championship but OKC. I'm so serious, bro.
I'm with you, but
I'm tired of OKC. Like you said, I think we're overvaluing. Like, here's my thing. I'm projecting. But if OKC wins the championship, they're now going to win back-to-back championships. take away the context, like SGA is going to be a 2-time MVP, 2-time NBA champion, 2-time finals MVP. They're going to put him in conversations and they're going to spend the summer having SGA dialogue that I'm sorry, it's not going to be, the resume isn't going to have the pizzazz that other guys that you're going to try and put him in the conversation. The game doesn't have the pizzazz. The narrative around SGA just doesn't have, he's not must-see TV. Like, he's probably going to win back-to-back MVP, and he's not must-see TV. I'm going to be honest. I really do not think for what the conversations he could put himself in, I think he'll also be the guy on that list that, like, SGA is really not must-see TV. I'm not hating. He's solid. He's very good. He's a star player. He's all NBA. He deservingly could win MVP, but it's like he's just very consistent at what he does. But there's nothing about like, but even you can tell he's growing on him, and like everything about OKC is growing on people because it's not even just fans complaining about the foul calls. It's coaches are willing to go out on the limb and take the fine. Other players are like, I know I'm going to get fined for this, but I have to speak on this. The media is speaking on the fact of like just the type of whistle that this OKC team is getting, the type of flopping that they're doing. Like, it just, I do not want to see, like, I don't want to see this team in Dynasty talks. I don't want to see.
It's the same as like the Kansas City Chiefs. Like people.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
It's similar. Yeah, there is.
KC wasn't hated, bro. Like, they didn't make themselves.
Did you want to see them in the Super Bowl the last time when they lost? Everybody was happy when they got their ass kicked.
I like Patrick Mahomes, so there's a bias there of like I'm not a fan.
I love Mahomes. I don't mind SGA. I know people get on SGA. I just don't. I respect what they do as an organization. Like,
they've made all the right moves, bro. Don't get me wrong.
And that's why I don't get mad at the foul stuff and all that. Brunson does it too. Brunson manipulates it.
But manipulating and being given the whistle is two different things. Like, I'm not saying that SGA is a good player, but I'm getting calls that like Brunson has to manipulate in order to get this call, where SGA is getting the call off the strength of they know he has the capability of manipulating it. They're giving SGA calls before he even draw the contact because they're anticipating the fact that SGA manipulates the defensive rules or the foul calling rules, however you want to consider it. So you're
gonna have a field day if it's Spurs OKC, because you know that if you believe in conspiracies and stuff and you believe they want Wemby to be it, what's gonna be the choice if you think it's a conspiracy? Because the NBA loves Wemby, but they also love that OKC is doing this as a small market in Shea. So
yeah, but I think if I go on the conspiracy side, I benefit more from Victor Wembanyama and the San Antonio Spurs winning than I do SGA and Oklahoma City winning back to back.
But hear me out.
We haven't had a repeat champion since what? Since Golden State?
We love dynasties. I know people.
Yeah, but we hate this OKC dynasty before it's even started. I think we'll rather see the San Antonio team be a dynasty.
No,
we'll rather Wemby win it again next year.
The NBA is based on, at its peak, is you need that villain, whether it's a player. LeBron for 20 plus years, he was the villain, and best when he was in Miami, he was the villain, and everybody hated LeBron.
Yep.
The Heatles, right? Miami Heat as a whole, the Heatles, everybody hated that team. Everybody hated those teams. Okay, the Warriors. So I think low key, were they rather the Spurs, but the Spurs had their dynasty. If you have OKC, because I think the Spurs are not as, I think Wemby's more like, and Harper, all those young guys, I think people will like them more than OKC. But if OKC goes on a run, I see them win back to back. I think that the NBA will low key like that because now they have the team that people are going to hate, and I think the NBA thrives. You know it, NBA
thrives off of hate. Basketball discourse thrives off of hate.
We hated LeBron. This is the problem they're going to have when LeBron leaves, because it's like, all right, who do we hate? Because there's not a lot of unlikable guys in the league. You could just try to make one, but it's like LeBron, for whatever reason, has had that title. People dislike it for whatever reason. The decision, player empowerment, but whatever.
That decision is what turned them hated. Like LeBron.
Yeah, but after that, who are you going to really hate? There's not really a player I hate. I mean, KD, but KD's going to be gone in a few years. So who's that? I think if you have the OKC, now you have a team that hates, and now that all that does is pull numbers. Because when there's an evil team, that's money, that's ratings, that's all that. You know, the Warriors, everybody hated the
Then you
Warriors.
create this matchup of OKC and San Antonio back again. Wemby,
You want that matchup too,
the people's
and
champ. Like
yeah, you
they'll
want
end up
that
going right back at each other. Then Wemby, the people's champ, try and get his revenge
exactly.
on the villains. We don't want to see
I
them win
think
3
this
in a
is good.
row.
I think this.
I,
And I
from
honestly, I
that
hope Minnesota
scenario, if it
comes
turned
back.
out that way, if these are the 3 teams, but like at the same time, like that scenario is solid. Like in that scenario, and OKC and San Antonio get back the next year, and the people's champ and Wemby, we want to finally see him get there and possibly get one, and maybe the matchup in the Eastern Conference will make it like, oh my God, Wemby verse, and who knows who will come out the East next year. I think the East will be a dogfight next year.
The
If
East is going
they
to be
start
better next year. So just
everybody coming in
for the
healthy.
Knicks, if there's ever a year to do it, it's got to be this year because next year East is going to get better, and it's just going to
I think
be
it's the
tougher.
same thing for Detroit and Cleveland too, and not so much Detroit as much as Cleveland. Like I think Cleveland's got to win this Detroit series, and then they got to beat the Knicks in order for Donovan Mitchell to sign a contract extension. And that's like Giannis, like to go into the offseason, like Giannis is going to take up so much of the conversation. And it seems like if he's going to be traded, he's going to be traded by the NBA draft. If he's going to stay pat, then I assume like if he's still there on NBA draft day, at the conclusion of the NBA draft, and I think Giannis will stay probably in Milwaukee, and that was the decision. It sounds like they're trying to get whatever draft capital they could possibly get in this draft, as well as in the future, and try and get their hands on some pretty good players, because this is pretty deep as far as good players. There's some pretty good players coming out. You got the top 4 that's supposed to be elite, but everybody else after that is pretty good down to the 20s, down to, what I'm saying, even the early 30s. Like there are a lot of pretty good players that you could get, especially when you're trying to rebuild, after unloading a superstar like Giannis. But Cleveland, like Donovan Mitchell in Cleveland is kind of the volcano that's sitting there brewing and hasn't erupted yet. And nobody's talking because they're still in the playoffs. But if they lose to Detroit, like, do you see Donovan Mitchell signing a contract extension? And he is now in the same situation as Giannis, which means if we're going to entertain trading Donovan Mitchell, we might as well go ahead and do it now in this summer and start to load up. You still got James Harden, Evan Mobley. Like you still have players where you would be competitive after trading Donovan Mitchell. And there still are some teams that would give up enough to keep you competitive with the core that you got in Cleveland, as well as whatever you get back in the Donovan Mitchell trade. But like, I feel like the conversation around Donovan Mitchell is going to heat up if they do not win this series, because it just doesn't scream to me that the only way that Donovan Mitchell stays in Cleveland is if there's real like championship possibilities. And I think right now, as good as the Knicks are, I just think beating Detroit, matching up against the New York Knicks at this moment in time is the best matchup you could get for you to try and get yourself to the NBA Finals and keep Donovan Mitchell. So I think Cleveland is like, that's a situation that in a week we could be having a totally different conversation if Cleveland loses this series. But if they keep playing like, that's going to be something to watch. Is we talk about the Knicks, and if they don't make it to the finals, that they're going to have to address some things and answer some questions and make some moves in the offseason. But it's the same for Cleveland. And it could even lead to a complete like blow up. Because if you get rid of Donovan Mitchell, does James Harden necessarily want to be there? You know what I'm saying? Like it could lead to a domino effect, but all eyes are going to be on Giannis. And I don't think not a single piece is going to fall until Giannis is out of Milwaukee. I think that's what we're going to be waiting on in the offseason.
I think Donovan Mitchell, his situation, I think it's going to be another year before anything, because I think he just signed an extension. So I think that he has a player option after for the 27 season, 28.
Which would make it like he's essentially playing on a 1-year deal, because he would have the option to opt in after next season.
But there's so much money he potentially could make. I think, guys, the days of free agency like 2010 and 2016 are just gone. And I think guys are going to sign their extensions. They're not going to take less. They're going to get their bread. And then if stuff hits the fan, then they ask for a trade. That's just how the new free agency is all about. Is going to be now about what teams are going to be able to plug, get the right pieces to try to make that next push. We're not going to see, those, the KDs and I think those days are gone. I think we're just going to see, and we're just going to see a lot of, just role players get signed. Like, I even think like there's not going to be such of a middle class. To me, there's two classes. It's unfortunately it's like the real world. It's just, there's the rich and then there's the poor, and the guys in the middle are going to get stuck. Those guys who usually get like the 4 for 75s, like those guys ain't getting that, because why would I give you that when I can get a guy for 2 for 10 and he can do just as much as the 3 for 75 guys. So free agency's changed a lot, but so I think Donovan's going to stay. Now, whether he stays there long term, who knows? Because I mean, how much does James Harden have left? He's like 37 years old. I don't know exactly his contract stuff.
And already not playing.
I think Donovan needs to see how much does Mobley develop, because everything is predicated on Mobley. If Mobley levels up, he's still young, so he can level up. Like I really don't.
Mitchell 30. Like don't forget, he 30 though.
Who?
Donovan Mitchell.
30, yeah.
He gonna be 30. So like, how much time do I have to wait for Evan Mobley to level up?
He still plays. I mean, in this era,
I don't think everybody wants to play until they're 38, bro. Like that's another thing is I don't think everybody is like, I know James Harden and Kevin Durant and Steph Curry, and then obviously like LeBron is the Tom Brady as far as conversation when we talk about NFL and NBA. Like those guys are like James Harden and them are the definition of longevity. And then Tom Brady and LeBron James they took longevity and ran with it. But guys playing at an elite level, being able to give you 25, 26, 27 points a game at 37, 38 years old, having multiple guys like that in the league of basically around the same draft class is really not a common thing. By this time, most guys are out of the league. But I also don't think the younger guys, the 30-year-olds, are longing to play for another 8 years. I don't think none of them are looking to be like Kevin Durant, like Steph Curry, like James Harden. Like, I think a lot of guys now are looking at that 35 years old, like might be around the time I hang it up.
I don't know. I think it's the opposite. I think guys think they could play till 40. I think LeBron, KD, all these Steph Curry, they changed that usually by the time guys like that, like the old heads, by the time they were that age, they were retired or they're on their deathbed in the NBA. But now guys are playing well into their mid-30s and playing at a high level. So I think it's different. I think guys are going to be looking to play as long as possible.
And then you got the Europeans who I feel like just have no interest of being here after they're done with whatever they're done. Like I don't see Jokic staying until 38 years old. I don't see Luka staying until 38 years old. Like these dudes will be out 35. Jokic might have 2 more years and be.
Yeah, I could see like some of them playing in their like whatever leagues.
I don't see Giannis going to 38, 39 years old. He's what, 32 right now, and
30, I think.
30, 31, but the injuries are piling up. This is where towards the end of the season, that calf has been a thing for a couple years in a row. A knee has
but
been
also that could be manufactured injuries where it's like, my calf hurts, but it doesn't. I can play, but I'm not playing for y'all.
But in the situation, though, Giannis essentially said his calf was fine and he was trying to play, and he put his team under investigation, which to me would be like the final straw of like Giannis is definitely gone. Like I think we all just we've been waiting for this for years, and it's that like the final chapter is here. Giannis is gonna be gone. Teams are now like they know. I think Milwaukee is now more serious than ever. And I think teams know that, and they're making calls, and they're on the phone with them now, trying to acquire Giannis. They know if they're got to get it done, the date is set. Haslam basically saying, "I want if he's gonna leave, I want it done before the draft." So the date is set. So we have a month for everything to transpire, and I think as the playoffs dwindle down, as the days between games start to get low, we're gonna start to focus more on those type of conversations that are being had and what the sources are hearing on that front. But just right now, you don't really want that to be front page news when you're the NBA trying to promote your product that's still actively going. You don't want to focus too much on the offseason. I think they're going to stop the LeBron conversation.
Definitely told the Bucks, like, hey, this is our time, not your time. So hold on any talks with Giannis.
Yeah, like wait.
I don't want to hear he demanding a trade because then that's going to overshadow
till the conference finals. Like wait till
after the season.
I don't think draft,
wait. because we need to focus on it. The league is right now on
The
fire.
conversations are going to start throughout
The conversation's already starting.
Right, but it's going to be like people are trying not to, like Wendy and all them guys, they're trying not to come on national television broadcast what they know and what they hearing inside the Giannis thing. I think when you got a conference finals game and a couple days in between, like that second day after when there's no game, like, all right, we could throw some of this Giannis conversation and what's being talked about. But I think like the teams that have always been in the Giannis conversation that we've been having for probably the past 3 years, I think are going to be now serious more than ever. I think Miami's going to shoot their shot and go all in on whatever it takes. Not saying that he goes to Miami. I'm just saying I think they're going to we're pulling out all of everything that we have to try and get Giannis. And if it's not enough because another team comes and swoops in, it's out of our control. But we're going to put every chip that we have forward. You can evaluate and say whatever you want about the chips that they can put forward. But I'm just saying on Miami's end, I think Golden State, they signed Steve Kerr for 2 years. I'm not saying that he goes to Golden State, but I think Golden State is going to try and put every chip that they have for the possibility of getting Giannis out to the Cupo to pair up with Steph.
In the season, because now your asset.
Yeah, you should have been there. Now some of your
there's no Kuminga the trade.
Yeah, some of your assets are less.
And they're hella old. Like Jimmy Butler is going to be retired in the next 2 years. Steph's going to be gone in the next 2 years. Draymond, they're trying to get rid of. Like Clay's obviously gone. Steve Kerr is going to retire in a year or two. To me, you don't I get it. You want to maximize Steph's win, but like you got to be realistic too. Like, we're gonna do all this to trade Giannis, and then everyone's gone in 2 years. Giannis is back to being where he was with the Bucks, and now we're in trouble again because we don't have picks and stuff. And now our franchise is set back. And
we could turn right back around and trade Giannis. We could turn right back around.
Giannis's value isn't even as high as it would have been last year. Like, you're not getting 5 first-round picks for him, especially with his contract.
No, you're not.
So you're going to get 2 first-round, and then in 2 more years, you think you're going to get 4? No, you might get 1 or 2. So, like, he's not like you can be like, oh, let's flip it. And I just don't get. I understand they want to win, try to win, but I don't know if I'm the Warriors. If I'm upper management, amen.
But I think the Warriors have I think right now though, the Warriors' path right now is predicated on the next 2 years. Steve Kerr signed a 2-year extension. We both think Steph and Jimmy Butler will be gone in the next 2 years. There's a possibility where Draymond Green is
ACL. Steph has all these injuries.
Right. No,
Draymond is declining.
But listen to me though. So what I'm saying is though, if I think all I got left with this Warriors run is 2 years, I don't have enough young players and I don't have enough draft picks right now. And I'm not picking in a promising spot that I'm not going to be on a 10-year rebuild post Steph Curry, era anyway. So I might as well try and maximize, like taking a swing and getting Giannis and pairing Giannis with Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry is definitely the ultimate. We are trying to win a championship. And if that team can enter into the playoffs healthy, to say that team couldn't win a championship would be crazy. Not saying they will, but to say that team this time next year with Steph, Giannis, and Jimmy healthy heading into the playoffs there's not a road for them to possibly win a championship, I think would be crazy. Now with you being like a draft guy and don't kill your future guy because the talent coming down the pipeline, things like, I get that. You're not wrong. I'm not arguing against your point. You're right. But I'm also like the devil's advocate side would be like, F them draft picks. Damn the future. We're going to have to rebuild post Steph Curry era anyway. We don't have nothing.
Now they're regretting it. You got to be careful when you have that mindset.
But I'm already all in. I don't have nothing post Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler. What do I got? Pochevsky or whatever? Like, that's who I got left. I got rid of Kuminga, sent him to Atlanta. I don't have anything. Okay, Moses Moody gonna be pretty good, but I don't have anything that really tells me that I don't have a 5 to 7 year rebuild post Steph Curry era anyway. So why not do whatever I can to throw my chips on the table? I'm not saying they land Giannis. I'm just saying I think they're gonna do whatever they can to put themselves in a highly considerable conversation. Like, I think Golden State has always been creeping around in that conversation. They've been, especially this past season when we thought he might be gone before the trade deadline. Like, Golden State that's the team to watch. That's the team to watch. And we were even saying, like, why would they trade for Giannis right now when Jimmy Butler ain't going to come back and play this, that, and the other? Are we even sure that it was the same questions, but it's just, we're already screwed post Steph Curry era. We might as well fully commit and land the Giannis and end it right. because Golden State has turned them. Steph Curry has turned that into like one of the three most valuable franchises in the NBA. It's going to remain that way. And if they can bring in Giannis Antetokounmpo, bring in another superstar, and make another few billions over the next 2 to 4 years, that 5 to 7 year rebuild post won't be so bad. It won't be all the way bad. Like it will be a bad team and it'll take a while. But what I'm saying is for that 5 or 6 championships, you win one more. I got 5 championships from Steph Curry. I got Giannis that came in here and won a championship alongside Steph Curry. A Steph, Giannis, and Jimmy Butler team is pretty exciting. Like that's Chris, that's worth it. That's worth it in a sense. I'd have maximized the end of the Steph Curry era. I'd have put my guy in the other conversations. We know he's the first ballot Hall of Famer. We know he's one of the greatest point guards of all time. There's nothing left to prove. But at the same time, like we're just going to try to put ourselves in position to be as good as possible for the last couple of years of the Steph Curry, Steve Kerr era. And how do you do that is there's a guy that's possibly available in Giannis. So I do want to put myself in them conversations. Don't be surprised if there's a conversation with the Washington Wizards. I think the Golden State Warriors could be trying to get Anthony Davis. I could see a world
I think that's more of a path.
But I think they're going to shoot for Giannis, and then we didn't get Giannis. So if the Washington Wizards were to make Anthony Davis available, if he were to say, like, I understand that y'all build for the future, y'all got the number 1 pick, but I just don't see how I'm a part of it, even though they could still be a pretty good team. For the next 3 to 4 years, at some point, y'all going to push me to the side of the plans because you're about to draft what you plan on being your face of the franchise. And Anthony Davis, I think, could ask out, and maybe he won't, and he rocks out with this Wizards team, but I just think there's a world where there's going to be teams calling about the availability, but I think they're going to have the acquisition of Anthony Davis in their back pocket because they shot for Giannis and didn't land. But I don't think they're going to not try. Like, I think they're going to remain in these conversations. I think they're going to put all their chips on the table, and it might put them in an awkward place anyway. So if they're going to do that, you hope you land Giannis. But I just think they are going to revisit the conversation and make the attempt. And sure, maybe they regret it in 5 years. But Chris, if Giannis came and for the next 2 years, let's just hypothetically, Giannis comes in the next 2 years, Golden State, Steph Curry, Giannis, and Golden State Warriors win back-to-back championships. Is that not worth 7 years from now being bad?
Yeah.
If I'm bad 7 years from now, you know what I'm saying? But because I grabbed Giannis and won 2 of them, got Steph 6.
I just don't know if they have the team like they did in the past that could, I just don't.
But who knows who wants? It's one of those. Who knows if you got Steph, Giannis, and Jimmy? So some of them vets might want to come over that way and play and you build the team a year by year basis, almost like you turn your NBA team for the next couple of years into a college basketball team. We visited this like the transfer portal. Which vet is looking for a better situation? Which vet is looking for a chance to play alongside Steph Curry, Giannis, or whatever, and maximize their potential?
There's not a lot of vets, though. That's the thing, too. There's not a lot of vets.
But you even grab some of them young guys that hey, if you was in this situation over here, because for anybody, it's easier playing alongside of Steph Curry, Giannis, and Jimmy Butler. So, for anybody that's not getting maximized at maybe a lesser team and they're available, you might it's an easier role for you to do what you do over here when you the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th option. So I'm just saying, I think Golden State will go all in and trying to acquire Giannis. Not saying that they get Giannis, but I just really think they're going to implement to me, the name that throws me the most is Minnesota. If they're saying, I've seen a report. I'm not saying they're saying, but there's a world where they expect Minnesota, Golden State, and Miami to be the heavy suitors for Giannis, the guys that we're gonna probably go all in, and that's assuming that Minnesota doesn't get to the NBA Finals and win a championship, obviously with their chances still alive. But Anthony Edwards and Giannis together is a pairing that I don't know if that fits, but there's a world where I could just feel like that'd be almost unstoppable too. I don't know how it fits, but Anthony Edwards and Giannis together, you get some shooters around them. Ant could just go get the bucket when you need to. Giannis could just drop his shot. There's just a world where basically you get a better Rudy Gobert. And I think that would make the Minnesota Timberwolves a lot better. Now, obviously, you're going to have to get rid of Julius Randle. Hell, you might have to get rid of Rudy Gobert. But you pair Anthony Edwards with Giannis, I think Minnesota feeling like they're in that spot where they got to do something before they sign him to a Supermax, and then he asks out 3 years later. Because like you said, that's the conversation with the guys is I don't think Anthony Edwards going to not sign his next Supermax extension. But I think if he's eligible to sign it this summer, I think he signs it with in mind that I could make in 3 years, if they don't fully commit to trying to get me a championship caliber team and being back here and just putting it all on me, in 3 years, I'll ask out for the summer when it's about to be my player option and call it a day. Like, I think that's the world of new free agency is there's a plan. I'll sign you for 5, but if we ain't there after 3, I'm out.
No, I'm with you. I agree with that because they got to figure a way to keep him happy. So I could see Minnesota doing something if they bounce. Because if they stay as is, they're not getting past OKC or the Spurs currently constructed. So they might have to make a power move to ensure that they're in that big 3-4 in the West every year. Because right now, Anthony Edwards is great, but it's just you can't compete with what the Spurs are doing, especially the way they're developing. Those are the two best teams are developing, the Spurs and OKC, and it's going to be tough
drafting and all that shit.
Like, and Minnesota probably scared right now because they're like, oh crap, like we're Minnesota, like we're not going to be able to get free agents to come here. Or
I could see a Kawhi Leonard. I could see even going in and getting like Kawhi Leonard. If I think the expectation is that the Kawhi and Clippers pairing will probably be in a breakup this summer, whether it's via trade, whether it's via, that investigation, they have to void the contract. But I think there's just an expectation that Kawhi and the Clippers could be split. Kawhi and Anthony Edwards do it for me. The way Kawhi Leonard was playing at the end of the season, like he was playing some great basketball. You know me, Chris. I don't like Kawhi Leonard. So, for me to be giving Kawhi Leonard his props and stuff, he was really hooping. So I think he has something to give to be within a Batman and Robin situation. Even if he's going over there to be Robin, I think if I get Kawhi Leonard to be my Robin because I'm Batman and Anthony Edwards, I think my team is pretty damn good. But I think Kawhi has another 2 to 3 years of championship level basketball to give to a team that is right there on the cusp of winning a championship. I don't think he can give you championship level play, but he's not going to carry a team. He's not going to Toronto Raptors his way. And the way teams are constructed, it's tough to Toronto Raptors your way all the way to a championship because a lot of these teams are the OKCs and San Antonio Spurs, and then you got the Minnesota Timberwolves. And even when you go out east, you got a lot of these teams that are young and developing, and they're going to start popping. And they made some moves and put themselves in, in draft positions where their picks have kind of hit. So to carry a team with a bunch of role players and being one superstar, I think is no more. But I think of Kawhi Leonard and Anthony Edwards and like Jaden McDaniels. You know what I'm saying? Like you put them three together, like, I got some defense. Kawhi Leonard was really shooting the 3 at a high clip this year. So Anthony Edwards and Kawhi Leonard on the getting your own bucket, hitting the 3. Jay McDaniels has played some elite basketball throughout these playoffs so far. Like he's kind of upped his ante, upped his game. I mean, you a 2 or 3 and you put Jay McDaniels at the 4. We got to find the center and find some pieces, find us a point guard to put it all together. But I think you cooking with that. Like if I shoot for Giannis and land on Kawhi, I think I'm still in a situation where I can put myself in to compete for a championship the following year.
The thing is with Kawhi is he that? I mean, he really played really good basketball. Like if he actually played the amount of games that you need to be all NBA, he would be an all NBA player. But I don't know. The Kawhi business is. I'm over these old heads. Let's get to the new generation. Even with LeBron,
these old heads might be some of these old heads might need to be used to catapult these young guys into.
No, not. And I think
I'm saying, like, especially Giannis and Kawhi. Not now. I get with the Steph and KD and LeBron. We ready for like that to go. James Harden, like we ready for the 37 plus club to kind of be up out of here and let the young guys take over. But I think the 33-year-old Kawhi Leonard, the 31-year-old Giannis, the 30-year-old Donovan Mitchell, like those guys are going to be that help these little 24, 25-year-olds catapult into that next. I got 3 to 4 years of championship level basketball to give you. I come play with the young guy. Now you're in the middle of your prime when it's my time to exit up out of here. I think those are the type of situations the Kawhi Leonards, the Giannis's can put you in. And that's why I think it's interesting. Like if Minnesota was to really try and swing at Giannis, because when you talk about players with the numbers that are there, the salary cap that's there, Minnesota can make it happen. And they don't have to trade Jay McDaniels.
If you really want a player,
like Jay McDaniels is untouchable. Ant has big up Jay McDaniels since they've been paired, bro. I do not think Ant is signing off on any trade where you give up Jay McDaniels.
Yeah, well, they're in the same draft class, so it makes sense.
But
But
you got Julius Randle and you got Rudy
you can
Gobert.
make Randall. I mean, who wants Julius Randle at this point? I don't know, but
I just don't know their draft pick situation.
Minnesota. I don't think they have a
I
first
mean, they're
team.
not picking anywhere great because they're a playoff team. So it's
Yeah,
not
I don't know where they. I don't know if they
this
even
isn't the
have.
NFL draft. Pick
I
25
don't think
isn't
they
that
have a
bad.
first round pick for them from the Rudy trade.
Oh yeah, because they did give up.
Yeah, they gave picks for that, so they're in another spot. You know, they traded a lot of picks to get Rudy, and they've been to back conference finals. But at some point, you
Got to get over the hump, bro.
got to get over the
Got to
hump.
get
But
over the hump, and that's
it's not going to be easy because you got and with the Spurs and the OKC. It's not like they're the Warriors and aging, teams.
they're
They're
young, bro. Like this looks like
a lot of
forever.
most of the Spurs guy, other than De'Aaron Fox, haven't even hit their rookie max. So like, do the
Yeah,
Spurs
like
in
this looks
here?
like two teams that are built for the next 7 to 8 years to be cream of the crop. And so you're looking at if we can't get over the hump now, these teams are only going to get better. Like
Exactly. So
OKC is still with the way they've moved all these picks, they're going to be a team that can win a championship and find themselves next year picking in the top 10. Like just off the
OKC has a
strength.
lottery pick this year and the 17th pick this year. They have Thomas Sorber, who tore his ACL this year, the rookie they took in the Relado. He's going to come back next year. They have Topic, who had cancer, who was some thought he was a top 5 pick. They got him where they got him late. Like, they're not going anywhere. They're not going
They
anywhere.
ain't got Jared McCain.
They got Jared McCain for nothing. You know, it's crazy. The Sixers could have used Jared McCain versus not that. Listen, the Knicks probably still win the series, but
They could have used
he can
Jared
get
McCain.
he can get hot,
Games.
and that's what you need. And they got they're just set up like they're gonna lose Hardenstein and replace him with Sorber, like I just said. Like they're doing this without Jalen Williams, who's an All NBA player last year.
Yep.
They're doing this without him with ease. They just went through. LeBron took him out after he took out the Rockets in the first round. He made them look silly. They made the Lakers look like they shouldn't even be in the league. Like they made them look that bad.
And SGA, the thing is, what to me, what I told everybody was impressive about OKC sweeping the Lakers. I didn't think the Lakers had a chance, especially no Luka Doncic. Like I didn't expect LeBron to be able to carry them and beat the Thunder. Like that wasn't the conversation I was having. But how easy can the Thunder do it without Jalen Williams? Is there a spot where they're going to struggle? Bro, LeBron led the entire series in scoring and only averaged 24 points a game. Mind you, like you had SGA who averages over 30 points a game in the season, averaged less than 24 points a game. That's not to crap on SGA. He didn't have to have an elite series to sweep a team in the second round. Like that's how loaded they are, that SGA was allowed to struggle and sweep with ease. I mean, the Lakers could hang with them for about 2 quarters. That one, in game 4, when they left it all out to try and not get swept, they were in the game late in the game. But other than that, you're like, man, the Lakers are hanging, and then the depth comes. And the entire OKC bench is on the floor, and the entire Laker bench is on the floor, and they're just going to work. And you're watching, and SGA is just sitting on the bench, not having to play 45 minutes a game, and not having to score 35 points a game in order to sweep this team and be in a dogfight. No, they did this with SGA having a minute series, which I think is dangerous for like I think that's elite for OKC, but that's dangerous for whether it's the Spurs or the Minnesota Timberwolves, that SGA done already got his bad games out the way. Like, man, I'd have played bad in the playoffs. Like I could shake, the superstars kind of shake that off, especially when you get it out the way in advance and get as much rest and as much time to get your mental back right and get back ready to go. Like that's what was impressive about OKC sweeping the Lakers, was how easy it looked without SGA having to play superhero basketball. SGA played bad to his standards for what we expected from him in that playoff series. He played bad to that standard and still was pretty good, and they still were blowing out the Lakers. So this was a team that in that scenario, I know they were missing Luka Doncic, but they didn't need SGA to be half of anything.
Even with Luka.
Yeah, I don't think the Lakers. I mean, the Lakers
they're
probably
losing 5 if they have Luka.
5, maybe 6. like because Luka does play so well against OKC, but I
Yeah,
think the way
but
the
the
series
Lakers
go,
have no bigs, and that's how the OKC killed them.
and it is, but I think the way the six would go would be one of those situations like they're down 3-1, win game 5, get blown out in game 6. So even though it's like, oh, OKC took them to 6 games, but the way it was, like the Lakers got that second win on desperation mode. They got them one just being competitive. Series was tied 1-1 or something. But I think even in that scenario, OKC would have went up 2-0 at home. Lakers split at OKC, and then in desperation mode, down 3-1, they're able to get game 5. Luka was able to be unstoppable, even when he was in Dallas. And times when he played for the Lakers, as far as an individual, he's hell for OKC. So backs against the wall, down 3-1, they could have got that. Now we're going to game 6. It probably get blown out. Luka's gassed out. But I just think it was a scenario with having Luka and just what he can do. I don't think they get swept. Especially not swept with ease. Luka gets them one. And so, but that's the thing. That's how good that OKC team is. That we could have added Luka Doncic, and we're saying, man, maybe he gets them one. A team with Luka, one of the 3-4 best players in the league. Drop him on the team, and we're saying, like, yeah, he's probably good enough to get them a game against this team. With the way SGA played. SGA still, with the way he played, they were winning by 30. Like they were winning by what Luka averages, which means with Luka, we're just in a dogfight with SGA playing bad. And we ain't even put SGA in the clutch times. Even in his bad games, when it's time to be clutch, SGA shows he can be pretty clutch. So like he got to play bad and not have to make up for it in the clutch time situations. Luka only brings it to where some of those games are just not blowouts. That's the conversation. It's still that in them toss-up games, it still could have went either way and go OKC side, and they still could have messed around and swept the Lakers. Like this OKC team is that good, and that is scary because they can implement themselves in any conversations they want. They could trade for whoever they wanted if they wanted to. You know what I'm saying? They could stay the course and draft and keep developing and have SGA and Chet and Jalen Williams. They could stay that route if they want to and still be talking about like championship, like the team to beat. They could say, you know what? We want Giannis. And Milwaukee wouldn't be able to say no to OKC's package.
Because they have all the picks.
Whatever we do, we got all the picks, bro. We got Chet or we got Jalen Williams. However we wanted to flip it in order to get Giannis. If they said they wanted Giannis, they could. If a superstar becomes available and they want him, like they are in position where I don't have to go get him. But if that's something we want to do, we can, and nobody can stop us. It'd have to be the player saying, I don't want to go to OKC. Like, that's the situation they're in. But I don't want to hold too much time. I just got one question for you to top on the NBA draft and for the reference for everybody, I want everybody to make sure they go check out all the draft content on the Off the Ball podcast. This is Chris's time to shine. So I'm going to ask you, we know about the top 4. We know pretty much about the top 4. We know the Darius A. Cuffs. Who else we got that we talking about at an elite level?
Keem Wagler, Mikel Brown.
We got all of those guys. Give me your sleeper. Give me your sleeper. Give me your guy that like you'll stand on the mountaintop that I think this guy is going to be a good pro. You ain't got to put all-star, all-NBA, future all-NBA, but like one of those guys like where we're just not focusing on that could get picked at 17, 18. Maybe you ain't got to find me a second round gym, but just one of those guys that just we're going to look by because of the top 4 and really because of the top 10. And we're going to look past and you're going to look 5 years from now. And that guy is one of the better 4 or 5 pros from that draft class. If there is one.
I mean, a lot of the guys that I would say were sleepers have had a really good combine. Like Morris Johnson, he's built like a defensive tackle. Like he's just like 6'9", 260, just chiseled, and he was a big part of Michigan winning the national championship. Just got better and better. Had some big scoring out, but he's just one of those guys. I feel like he's just going to be a really good pro. Like I don't know how good. Like I won't say he will be an all-star. I don't think he's in that level, but I just think he's going to be a really good pro. Where you're going to be talking about him in 5 to 10 years and be like, man, this guy's he just a good play. He just does everything. Blocks shots, plays defense, does the little things, is an athletic specimen. And you're just going to be like, well, wow, this guy's really good. And he was in the late lottery. I think at one point there was mocks to him to New York at 24. I think after this combine he's going to go up. So he's there. I mean, Cam Carr is another guy who I like out of Baylor. He's a super athlete, Zach Levine-ish type of athlete. Um, he's another one I think rose up. He was someone I would say. But as far as someone lower, I'm trying to think of guys in the 25 to 30 range. Tyrus Reed from UConn, I think he'll be in that range. I think he's another, like, if you saw what he did, I don't want to go back to the Duke UConn game, in the Elite Eight. It brings back bad memories, but he was the reason why they were even had a chance to even make the comeback. Because in the first half, Duke should have been up like 50. I'm not even exaggerating. They should have been up by 34. It should have been what the Knicks did to the Hawks. Like, it should have been that type of ass whooping, but he just kept chipping away because he's so strong and we couldn't handle him in the post. Boozer was having trouble with him, and Boozer's going to go top 3. Mm-hmm. So Tyrus Reed is a specimen too, 6'10", 265. Like, he's built like an old school type of big, just a bully. He was bullying our bigs. Like, and we have solid bigs, and he was bullying us. So he's another guy I like a lot too. So I wouldn't be surprised in 10 years where he's saying like, Tyrus Reed is still. He's a starting center still. He's another guy. So those are a few. The big class I like a lot in this draft. And I think teams are going back to
making bigs
a preference. Because if you look, the Lakers, they get cheaped out with their bigs. OKC has elite bigs. The Knicks, good bigs. Cavs, good bigs. Detroit, solid bigs. It's,
we gave them some bigs back. Bigs are important.
You need them. You need
high. They're getting a little stronger, a little less athletic, like a little less. I won't say athletic. They're getting stronger and a little less shifty, is what I say. I don't want to say athletic because like Jalen.
We're seeing a lot of the big, like 6'10", 6'11" bigs.
Strong, like Jalen Durant is not shifty, but he's strong and athletic. Like, so we're getting to the less. We don't want our 6'10" big, strong, and
You still have those. You still have Caleb Wilson's and even
you're gonna get them, the slender build guys and stuff like that. But we also getting the 6'10s that'll get down there and catch a couple elbows to the face and give a couple elbows to the face and get a little gritty. I could give you a strong 20 and 10 on it.
It's like the safety in the NFL where like how Caleb Downs was like everyone said, oh, he's the best player in the draft, but he went to you guys at 10, 11, whatever pick you guys had. So, and it's like that with bigs. Like, everyone knows you need one, but it's like, I don't want to take them that high. So you just go in that 10 to 25 late first round range. And it's kind of the same thing with like safeties. Like, everybody wants one, but they don't want to spend it on a top 5 pick unless it's like, oh, he's Ed Reed. Like, it's like running. Yep. If he's Ed Reed, then I'll take because he can. That means he's a true game.
Change a franchise.
He could legit pick 6 everything. If it's that or Sean Taylor, rest in peace. That's like the same thing with
like that. Yeah, the guy who even though your position is your position, you're a franchise changer. You're gonna change the trajectory of the way I can.
And it's like we're running back to extent like you're only gonna take a running back unless it's like, yo, he's Christian McCaffrey, he's Saquon, like he's a true like, oh, he does everything. All right, we'll take him top 5. But same thing with bigs, and we're gonna see point where we're gonna get bigs back to a maybe not a Shaq level big, but there's gonna be a big that's gonna go number 1 because I think that's where we're shifting to. We're gonna get back to the bigs, being
having that kind of value where you could justify
having that value where you're like, because think about DeAndre Ayton, 2018 goes number 1.
Yeah.
If you just change the way the league is just 3 years later, there's not a chance in hell he goes number 1. You're taking Luka, you're taking SGA, you're taking all these other guys, number 1, and Ayton's probably in that 5 to 10 range. You taking them. So I think with the tradition, not the straight traditional bigs, but like we're gonna see, more bigs go higher.
New age version of like real post players. Not like the stretch 4 build.
Because it's listen, the NBA is a copycat league. And you're going to see the final 4 teams all have 2 bigs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you are.
At least 2 bigs. And like quality bigs. One maybe an all-star level big. Another one who's like a high caliber.
Very good role player.
Very good backup or to be a starter.
Yep.
Like we have Mitchell Robinson. We got Cat. Detroit has Isaiah Stewart and Duren. Even though Duren's not been good, but they still like he was an all-star.
His presence is there.
You see the Cavs got Jared Allen and Mobley. The Spurs got Wemby. They don't need anybody else. They got Wemby. And then you have, even Minnesota, so you
Rudy
okay,
Gobert,
see has
Julius
the bigs.
Randle type deal. And
Yeah,
like I
so
know Randle is the stretch four type of guy that we're
yeah, but
talking
he's
about.
6'9" and he's a
Yeah,
bully,
he's like
so
6'10", big, strong. You know what I'm saying? So like that mold
that
of
that those bigs, you're gonna see teams get more, with the two big lineup. Like that started with Minnesota when they had Cat. Not started, but like that was the
yeah, that
thing
cat
with the two
Rudy
big
Gobert, the
lineup.
Twin Towers. That was
And
the
they
thought
went to a
process.
conference finals doing that, and the Knicks are in the conference finals with the two bigs. So you're gonna see teams emphasize getting, with getting, multiple bigs because you need them. You
Yeah.
just need them. You're not going to beat these teams that have these shifty guards and wings, and not have a big in the paint. At least one who's in, whether it's a scoring type of big, and like Detroit and New York do. They have a scoring big, and then they got their defensive big. And if you have one that's an elite scoring big, and then one's elite, that's they're going to go far. Just going to go far.
Yeah, especially in today's league. So there you have it. Chris, I ain't gonna hold too much more of your time. That's Chris LeBron, host of the Off the Ball podcast. Make sure you go check it out. Make sure you go subscribe. It is the New York Knicks are in the Eastern Conference Finals with an opportunity to go to the NBA Finals. While the NBA draft combine is happening, while the NBA draft coverage is happening, the NBA draft lottery just happened. This is Chris LeBron's time to shine. So I want y'all to follow that journey, especially y'all have to be listening to the Off the Ball podcast because he's going to start talking outrageous if the New York Knicks are in the NBA Finals. And y'all have to follow that journey because I know the guy, as realistic as he's been realistic for years about talking about the Knicks because they have not made it to the championship. But if they do, Chris LeBron is no longer going to be that host of Off the Ball podcast talking about his New York Knicks. His 30-something years of fandom that he was born into, bred into, raised into in the city is going to come out of him. His New York accent is going to come out of him. All of that is going to, everything that you know Chris LeBron as is going to go out the window. And it is going to take him back to the days of when he was running around the neighborhood, running around all around New York City, running around all around the five boroughs, rooting for the New York Knicks. So I just want y'all to make sure y'all check it out. Chris, bro, I appreciate your time. I appreciate you jumping on. Obviously, we'll do more here in the near future, especially the farther the Knicks go, the more I got to hear from you, the more I got to see what your thought process is and keep you intact. And then we're going to talk in the summer, and we still going to make things shake. We'll always jump. If you need me on your podcast, I'll jump on too. But I appreciate everybody for tuning in. I appreciate everybody for listening. Be well, be safe, and we'll see you on another episode of the Coach Mo Murphy podcast.